Now we have with us in the studio a lawyer, Ahmed Abbas, to look at this with us. Good morning to you and thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
And you're really looking resplendent in your native attire.
Thank you.
All right. This seems to be giving credence to what many Nigerians have been saying about F-SARS for so long, that the Nigerian police had been debunking that it wasn't true, that some officials of the F-SARS, not all of them, are not doing what they're supposed to do. They're breaking the law instead of upholding it. You agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And first and foremost, I think we should thank the present Commissioner of Police in Lagos State.
Edgar Lemonde.
Personally, he's the best police CP I have ever seen in Lagos because he's a no-nonsense man. And secondly, he's very transparent. There's a group that he established where he's present, all the area commanders are present, all the divisional police officers are present, all special squads and units are present. And once you raise an issue, the admin will call the head of that unit to respond immediately or investigate and report to that platform immediately. So he's holding them accountable. And I can tell you, as a privileged member of that group, so many cases have been resolved.
It seems Lagos has been lucky anyway.
Yeah,
to have
so many cases have been resolved. Once a matter is reported there, they will resolve it immediately. Those officers will be reprimanded, disciplined, or if they've extorted money from anybody, they will. In fact, I've been a beneficiary of that thing. A police officer collected money from somebody they raided on the street who was a barber with his ID card. They took him to Panti and they refused to grant him bail. They've even collected part payment of what he was demanded from him. When the family members brought it to my attention, I reported the matter on the platform. It was the police officers, they were now calling the suspect to please come and collect his initial deposit that they don't want.
In Nigeria?
Yes, yes. I'm on air. So I'm saying we should give it to, if every state will have a CP like Edgar, who insists that the police is there for the benefit of the people and not to oppress and victimize or exploit people. We have a very wonderful police force in this country.
All right, that's interesting and really good to know. But let's bring it to the issue of SARS now as an outfit. Just how dangerous are the dimensions when operatives that are supposed to maintain law and order gets involved with the kind of order that they were supposed to maintain in the first place? How dangerous is that, and what could even lead to that in the first place?
Look, we should be grateful one more time. It has been the trend that most of these officers, they act with impunity. Look, if you go to most of their cells, I'm saying this with profound respect to the senior officers, I mean, both officers who are doing their job professionally. But you have very bad officers that if you go to each of these SARS cells, sometimes you will see people who are there probably for tenant-landlord relationship, contractual relationship, you are owing me money, I can't pay the money, and somebody has a connection to SARS, he goes to SARS report, you might end up spending several days there because it's a specialized unit. And you know, immediately they say the matter they are actually investigating has to do with armed robbery. And everybody just thinks, oh, it's a serious matter. But I can tell you that numerous innocent men and women who are, you know, languishing in their cells and all the rest for a very simple reason. So it's a practice. It's a practice. It's just that we have an officer who is insisting that they must do what they are paid to do. The police is just like any other Nigerian institution. You have good officers, you also have bad officers. But you actually have some very bad officers there who just believe they are above the law. And I think one of the other things is that in my interaction with some of them, I think we still need a lot of reorientation to do. Some of our officers don't even know what it means to say, I'm a police officer. I think they just have this impression that as a uniform officer, I have a gun, and therefore I can do whatever I like and nothing will go. But you see, once you have a superior officer who is on top of his game, who is disciplined enough, because I often tell people, look, if you have a disciplined man presiding over any institution, there will be order. There was another case that happened the other time in a solo, where officers laid siege on a bank for a customer that went into the bank. He came out, he was arrested. They took him to one corner and extorted money from him. It was brought to the attention, I think, of DCP. They investigated the matter, and those officers were arrested. The monies were repaid, and they were also disciplined. All it takes for sanity to return to various sections of our life is just for us to have men and women who are not beneficiaries of the corrupt system and the perverted system. Because if you have a CP who probably is getting returns from different commands and all the rest of them, when they are boys and officers commit offenses, he's under obligation to cover them up.
Absolutely.
But if you let your officers know that, look, you're on your own, do your job professionally. If you run into a problem, I will expose you, I will deal with you. There will be sanity.
These F-SARS men that have been, removed from the force are just very few of those that have been accused by Nigerians. Of course, some didn't come forward. We will see them on social media with proof of how they transferred money via the internet and all that. Now, there are so many allegations. There is breaking and entering, which is becoming so common, according to the revelation of those that have been allegedly harassed by F-SARS officials, that you see them, these men carrying guns with branded jackets of F-SARS, breaking into someone's home or harassing people on the road. It seems that even seems to be the common practice now, that once they look at, they assess them. If they look like internet fraudsters, they usually tend to harass them, and some celebrities have been harassed as such. So what should be done, really? Because it seems to be a lot, and that is why #EndSARS, #EndSARS came to being and gained traction online. So first off, should it be about ending SARS or reforming SARS?
No. I do not subscribe to ending SARS, because I can also testify that sometimes the risk they go through in being able to keep the society sane. We've had situations where officers got to a town, lodged in a hotel because they were there on a mission to arrest some armed robbers, and those officers get killed in their hotel room because of probably prior information or leakage of intelligence. So they go through a lot of risks. Some of the officers, you see them with broken legs, gunshot injuries in the pursuit. I'm telling you honestly, without that department, robbers will have a field day in any society. They undertake dangerous jobs on behalf of the society. I will never subscribe to their scrapping. There is no institution without problems and challenges. All you need to do is to constantly fine-tune. Look for where there are lapses. If there is no discipline, enforce your discipline. And constantly encourage them and put resources at their disposal to be able to carry out their function. They are doing a wonderful job. I will not sit here to say scrap SARS. All I'm saying is put in mechanism for ensuring, if we have officers that do not subscribe to the philosophy and the objective for which the unit was established, let them face the penalty. That is the only way you sanitize. You can't have a crime-free establishment, society, department in any part of the world. Even in United States of America, we've seen a case where police officers invaded an elderly woman's house, a 78-year-old woman, who fired a gunshot into the air to scare, because she was the only person living there. They killed the woman and eventually planted drugs that she was dealing drug. It was in the course of interrogation, one of the officers broke down that his conscience could no longer contain it, and he confessed that the woman actually did not fire at them, she only scared them. But police will always be police anywhere. There is no society that is 100% free from bad guys and good guys. The most important thing, you must constantly ensure that your laws must be robustly enforced. That's the only way, because all our laws are there. Even police officers sometimes who detain people unlawfully and extort people, there are laws. No police officer is above the law, but it depends on the capacity of probably the legal practitioners and those who are, the civil society organization to enforce the law, because the law is just like an ass. It sits there until you put it into action. Yes. So you need people who are passionate about the evolution of a decent society, who would pay any price. Because sometimes, I tell you honestly, fighting against a system, those who are law enforcement officers, especially when they have a boss at the top who is also part and parcel of the rotten system, enforcing you know, violations against such institutions can be very, very, very tortuous, very expensive, and sometimes it can be very, very dangerous.
So that's why we're seeing results in Lagos because of someone like the commissioner.
Yes, because look, once you have one single man to change a system, to change a society, to change, it was Barack Obama who said, look, one man can make a lot of difference. One single person can galvanize an entire system. Sit down, especially when he's the superior. Once your subordinates know you are a no-nonsense person, they will sit tight. That is just it. So if you have the likes of Edgar presiding over our, over our, what do you call, our state commands and all the rest of them, most of this impunity will be addressed. Because once the officer, look at, it's in the public domain, that being a police officer does not give you the right to violate people's rights. You will lose your job and you will go to jail. Once officers see that, they all sit tight. But when you have officers who are trying to, because sometimes some police officers, senior officers, they cover up their boys, even when they know that those boys are above the law. And you can't do that and have a police force that the people will be friendly to. Because you can't police a society without the cooperation of the citizen. Yes, but when the citizens see you as an institution that traumatize them, victimize them, exploit them, dehumanize them, even when somebody is an eyewitness to a crime, and the police come there to say, please, can somebody oblige us information? The man will say, you're on your own. You can't tell them, oh, police is a friend of the people.
And that can frustrate an investigation process.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, let's even begin from where it starts from, the training of an average police officer in Nigeria. Like you said, that some of them are doing wonderfully well, if not excellent, but wonderfully well, amazingly. Then in the same system, you still find those who are denting the entire system. Now, when it comes to training, what kind of training do they receive? And some people are able to uphold the standards based on what the benchmarks are, and others seem not to even understand what it takes to be a police officer.
See, if you check the police hierarchy, you'll see that the senior officers, if you interact with the police, the senior officers, probably who are graduates, most times are more professional in their approach to their duty. You see the rank and file. You could go to the police station, you will see a police officer on the counter will be writing. You came there for an information, probably to make a complaint. He might not even bother to look at you in the face. He will just say, Oga, go sit down there. 6 months training in a modern, contemporary society, 6 months training for a police officer who is going to police a complex, dynamic society that has people that are globally compliant is insufficient. 6 months for probably a school cert holder who you are going to throw into the society to deal with people with complex attitude, complex training, skill, it's inadequate. Even the curriculum, as of today, look, emotional intelligence is becoming part and parcel of curriculum, you know, in most universities, so that you know how to handle people and things like that. People's skill, most of them are lacking. Human rights training, not just 1 day human rights training, because sometimes
or like a workshop.
Sometimes if you ask a police officer, trace the trajectory of human rights development, so that you know that, look, what has become a universal code wasn't just the brain work of somebody who woke up overnight and say, oh, let us draft a human right. These were byproduct of debates that span 500, 600 years, because the society was looking for a barometer for measuring governmental relationship with their people, that will no longer be subject to the whims and caprices of anybody. So what is right in Nigeria should be right
anywhere.
In any part of the world.
It should be universal.
It should be universal. We got there not because people just sat down and wrote something. It was a result of intense debate over the years. From one civilized nation to the other, they kept on
intellectual exchange.
It was serious job. So if you do not understand the history of how we come, you won't understand.
You can't get it in 6 months.
You can get it in 6 months. You won't understand the import that if you take it away from a society, what you are going back to is an animal kingdom.
So you could see them as victims of a complex system.
Look, go to your police college here and see the circumstances under which you are training men and women that you are going to give gun to. Go to their rooms and see the kind of beds they are sleeping on. Go to your classroom and all the rest of them. You can't get the best. Yeah. If we want a modern contemporary police force, we must invest heavily in their training.
All right. Ahmed Abbas, thank you so much for coming on the program and giving us insight into this.
Absolutely.
Thank you.